So welcome everybody to the second worst day of my life, where I've found out that my dog has terminal cancer, and we're reading Lily and the Octopus together to help us kind of process through that. And I don't know if you were here for my last videos, but I lost a little bit of progress, so we're kind of starting again. Here's where we're going to be starting as we take our little walk out to one of our favorite spaces. I pinch the skin on the back of her neck as I imagine her mother once did to carry her when she was a pup. There's a wind coming, I tell her, staring down the octopus as much as I dare. I fear there's more truth to that statement than I'd like. Mostly I am setting Lily up to deliver her favorite line from Elizabeth the Golden Age. Neither of us has actually seen the film, but they played this exchange endlessly in the commercials back when it was in theaters, and we both collapse in fits of laughter at the sound of Cate Blanchett bellowing and carrying on as the Virgin Queen. And my dog does the best Cate Blanchett impression. Lily perks up just a bit and delivers her response on cue. I too can command the wind, sir. I have a hurricane in me that will strip Spain bare if you dare to try me. Let them come with their armies of hell, they shall not pass. It's a good effort, and one she makes for me. But if I'm really being honest, it isn't her best. Instinctually, she probably already knows what is fast becoming clear to me. She is the whelk, she is the crab, she is the snail, and the octopus is hungry. And it wants to have her. Alright, I feel a little bit better. We're back to where we were in the book before I lost a little bit of progress, so feeling a little bit better. We are starting off today by reading this next chapter called Camoflage, and then the perspective will change as I get back into the last reading, and then we'll continue from there. My therapist's office is painted the color of unsalted butter. Sitting in that office on the couch with the one broken spring that made it just maddeningly shy of comfortable, I have often thought of shoving the whole room into a mixing bowl with brown sugar and flour and vanilla and chocolate chips. I crave cookies when I'm annoyed, when I feel I know better than those around me. Crisp on the outside, chewy on the inside, fresh baked chocolate chip cookies warm from the oven with the chocolate soft but not melted. I don't know the derivation of this comfort craving, but there's a quote from the Cookie Monster that's always inhabited my head. Today we live in the moment unless it's unpleasant, in which case me will eat a cookie. While I don't take all my matters from googly-eyed blue monsters when questioning grammar, this one has taken root. Lately I've been craving cookies a lot. My therapist's name is Jenny, which is not a name that should be acceptable for a therapist ever. A gymnast perhaps, Forrest Gump's wife for sure, a worker at one of those frozen yogurt places where you pump your own yogurt and all they have to do is weigh it and they still think their job is rough, but not a therapist. I don't think people take Jenny seriously. Case in point, my name is Edward Flask, but people call me Ted. Something I insisted upon after an unfortunate nickname, Special Ed, followed me through grade school because I was so shy. I can see my name scrawled in Jenny's handwriting across the top of a legal pad in her lap. But the T in Ted is bolder, clearly an addition she made after remembering no one calls me Ed. And I've been seeing her for months. Still, Jenny takes my insurance and has an office that's adjacent to my neighborhood, at least by Los Angeles standards. The conclusions she draws are always the wrong ones, but I've gotten good at taking her dim-witted advice and filtering it through the mind of an imaginary and much smarter therapist to get the insight into the life that I need. That by itself sounds dysfunctional, but it happens to work for me. I entered therapy after I ended my last relationship. 18 months ago, 6 years in, and maybe 2 years after I should have. It started out strong. We met at the New Beverly Cinema after a screening of Billy Wilder's The Apartment, and we argued about its merits. Jeffrey was smart, scary smart, and passionate. When I blanched at The Apartment's themes of infidelity and adultery, Jeffrey pressed me on in the professional love for another of Wilder's films, The 7-Year Itch. At first, his charisma made it addictive to be around him, but over time I recognized it was also a facade. There was a wounded boy inside of him. He had grown up without a dad, so it made me sense that he sought constant validation. I found it endearing, humanizing, until he started to indulge that little boy. There were tantrums, there was acting out, there was this need to control things that he had no business controlling. But he was still that boy, and I loved him, so I stayed, thinking it would get better. And then one morning I woke up to one of life's clarion calls. I deserved better than this. That night, I said I was leaving. After more than a year off from dating, I'm finally putting myself out there again, dipping my toes in the old waters from which I thought I was long sailed downstream. Jenny asks me about this. How's that going? That? Yes. Dating. It's the last thing I want to talk about. The octopus has almost as tight a grip on my head as it does on Lily's, and yet I can't bring myself to tell Jenny about our unwanted visitor. At least not yet. I can't show my hand. I can't expose the fear that the octopus brings, and have her say all the wrong things as she's all but guaranteed to do. Jenny, I can't do her work for her. Not on this. I'd rather do her work without her, which means for now holding this one close to my chest. Smart. Then you can see if the hug was friendly, a friendly hug or a romantic hug. So what happened? I broke the hug first. Jenny looks at me disappointed. Defensively, well, he didn't break the hug either, so we were just standing there like two stroke victims propping each other up. The walls are now dangerously close. I wonder if they will crush me or if I will be pressed into their buttery softness, creating a perfect mold of my form after I suffocate in clotted cream. That in and of itself should have told you something. Jenny makes a doodle on her notepad, darkening the ED in my name to match the bolded T. She's being paid to listen to me, and even she finds me boring. It's not her fault, though. Less than 24 hours since the arrival of our cephalopod house guest. I already recognize a trait we share. I, too, am hiding in plain sight. I'm walking through life invisible, skulking like a failure, hoping few people notice me. I've been doing that since things went south with Jeffrey. I think you need to allow for the fact that some people have difficulty expressing themselves, Jenny muses. Jenny always employs the phrase some people when she's talking about me. Once again, this is the wrong conclusion. The guy did not have problems expressing himself. I do not have problems expressing myself. This guy just didn't know if he liked me, and that made me anxious. Even if it was my fault, he didn't know. Even if I was not letting myself be seen. C is for cookie, that's good enough for me. Cookie, 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 starts with a C. I filter her analysis through the voice of my preferred imaginary therapist, and he comes up with sharper advice. It's only been 2 dates. Why do I need to know how this guy feels about me? Why does everything have to be settled? Do I even know if I like him? I mean, beyond his looks? I have to be better about living in the not knowing. And suddenly, it's not about dating, it's about the octopus. I have to be better about living in the not knowing. June in Los Angeles is the opposite of June everywhere else. Here it means only one thing: gloom. The sun disappears behind clouds and fog and smog and haze and doesn't reappear for weeks. Normally, I like it. Normally, I'm fine with it for being the price we pay for sunshine for the rest of the year, but tonight there's no sunset, and it bothers me. Trent calls and proposes dinner, and I say no, but Trent doesn't take no for an answer, so I say yes to save us from going 12 rounds. And I feel bad for leaving Lily for another hour, but I also know I need to talk to someone, and if it's not going to be Jenny, it might as well be Trent. He knows how to get through to me, and always has, ever since we met on our first day of college in Boston. He was a loud Texan, and I was a quiet Mainer, and I was immediately captivated by his southern charm, much as he was fascinated by my northern chill. It was a friendship that worked from the moment he knocked on the door of my dorm room and asked if I wanted to walk to 7-Eleven for cigarettes. He was the Ferris Bueller to my Cameron Fry. From the time that we were 22, Trent would tell me not to worry. He said it was all going to happen for us when we were 29. Bad breakup, who cares? Dead-end job, it wasn't a waste of time. Any other stress? Why waste even a moment of caring if it wasn't going to happen when we were 29? I questioned him at first, why 29? Why not 28? And then I started to panic. What if it didn't happen for me until I was 31? I didn't know how to use swear words correctly until the 7th grade, or what the internet was until 1995. I worried about falling behind. Still, the bravado of the statement and the confidence for which he delivered it eventually made me a believer. I never bothered to ask what it was. The it that was going to happen for us. I'm not confident he entirely knew. And then, in the very waning hours of my 29th year, I found Lily, the day after my 30th birthday. Trent is already inside the restaurant when I get there. It's our usual place. We like it because when you order a martini, it comes in a chilled martini glass, and then when you're halfway through the drink, they bring you a fresh chilled martini glass for the rest of it. They even offer the drink for you and bring you fresh olives. Astonishing, right? Service. "Hi friend, I ordered you a martini," he says. "Thanks, do you have the other thing?" "Teddy," he says, scolding me for even thinking he might have forgotten. He slides a single Valium across the table. I put the pill into my mouth, chewing it slightly before I press it under my tongue. It works faster if you press it under your tongue. Trent gives me a minute to make it happen. "Are you going to tell me what's the matter?"